Legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Man, that means so much differently now that you know that Jimmy Johnson is obviously going to go into the Ring of Honor. Definitely has that. Bryan was bringing it up on his broadcast. Just has this thing with the Cowboys history, and a guy like that not being honored is a crazy thing. So it's great to see that finally happen. But one thing that finally is happening is, of course, I'm Primetime Phil. Welcome back to Primetime Studios, and today we are going to talk about the Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys for the final regular season home game for the Cowboys in the situation where we need to win to possibly try to host another game, not hoping that, that the lower seeds don't knock out the bigger seeds, and that's the only reason why you get the home game. But don't get me wrong, I'll take that as well. But one thing that will also take, man, hey, Gametime Bryan is in the house. Gametime, how you doing, sir? It seems like forever since I've worked with you, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time since we got together, but I'm doing good. Kind of a chill day. I went out and did some stuff, but I'm doing good. I see we got a house full of people here.
Yeah. Brad Harris.
Hopefully
Angelica,
everybody in the chat's doing good.
Angelica, Mike Aldana, Rhonda's in here with her live broadcasting of movies. Remember, give her some suggestions if you guys have any. Definitely give her some suggestions. And then, of course, we have Gametime, of course. Jeff Lee's in the house. There's probably some more in there, not jumping in there and into the chat yet. But one thing I'll have to point out, I want to say this as well. I was watching Mike Tagg. Mike Tagg is a guy that we've had on here, really good buddies with Bryan as well, in the sense of the YouTube, Twitter had a whole thing, better than me. Let's just say that. And so to see how they go, I see him with Kelly K9, another guy that we had on here around that time. I feel like they kind of got together afterwards, so I like to feel special in the sense that maybe we helped out with a little bit of that. So, yeah. But one thing that was amazing, they had what was it, last night or so? They had one, and it was dedicated to Jimmy Johnson. I mean, Jimmy Johnson definitely did a lot for this Cowboys franchise. It was. They definitely had their thing, man. They had a lot of representation for the Cowboys community, legends, coaches, things like that. Just a lot. I definitely should check that out if you possibly get a chance. But yeah, it's definitely interesting as we get into the end part of the season, the regular season. Because let's just be real, Bryan. Before the season began, where did we have the Cowboys at this point of the season?
I had them at 12 wins. So
yeah, had them at 12 wins as well. So we're right there on cusp to be able to do this. I said there's a possibility that we might hit the 13. That's where those stupid games like Arizona and all those come in, where you shouldn't have lost that. But now you're, instead of being ahead now in the division, still you're fighting and hoping that somebody loses. I hate getting in those situations, so I don't even like to think about that anymore by that point. But one thing that we do like to think about, and I like to keep bringing up, is, of course, Jimmy Johnson going into the Ring of Honor, which I think it's just about damn time, man. Everybody kind of knows it. If you're a true Cowboy fan, you kind of feel it, that there's some kind of curse that's been on this team since this whole thing has happened. Not enough to not win another Super Bowl as soon as he left, but, as soon as Jerry started taking credit for everything, I think that's where it kind of morphed into something else. So definitely happy that we're doing that part. I think, could it have been another different game? I don't know. Detroit was the team that we that we got over the hump with Jimmy Johnson to make it to those Super Bowls and get a good run going. So maybe that has some significance. I don't know, but man, this is a tough Detroit team that we're gonna have to be facing tomorrow. Bryan, how do you feel about the state of the franchise going into the end of the regular season and possibly playoff football?
Honestly, it's not as good as I would have liked. To me, after that 5-game win streak, I laid it out for you and everybody, really. Laid it out to where, okay, now we're going to see what team we are made of. And we went into Buffalo and got destroyed, lost a close one last week. But we still lost back-to-back road games against good teams nonetheless. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it and act like I'm happy. No, I think we should be a game better. I just think that we should have found a way to win last week. That's it. I mean, we didn't get the job done. So
Yeah,
not to
well,
be
you know what?
negative, but
And
I'm
you,
not real thrilled right now.
yeah, I'm not real thrilled in the sense of the two.
Now I'm holding my breath.
Yeah, the 2-game streak that they're going and losing. This is the first time it's happened in the season. When I look at this, I mean, I look at, Mike McCarthy just basically getting that. Where I thought the game last week was going to be a little bit more out of control than what it was. They did a really good job defensively to actually keep the scoring down for an very explosive team.
Our offense, yet again.
Mm-hmm.
And
they were going to
see. That's how I look at it.
And they were going to CeeDee Lamb. They had something.
We had 22 points.
Yep. If you would have told me that, we were going to keep them down to 22 points, I would assume that we had won the game. But when you look at it overall, I mean, you take these explosive guys and you were able to keep them under 100 yards. The running game wasn't running all over Dallas's defense. There was just stuff out of position. There was a lot of non-calls. There was a lot of stuff there. But the fact that we were in the game, that's what I like. Yes, you are not winning these games, but at some point you're going to have to start winning these. And when is the best time to prove all that media and all those doubters wrong about winning on the road? When by getting to the Super Bowl by winning on the road, and that's something that they might have to end up doing. But at least I feel confident enough to feel that we at least have a chance to go into every single game. Sometimes we don't know which team is going to show up.
We didn't really break down the Miami game, but just looking back just for a second. Came out dynamic in the first drive of the game. Put a hell of a drive together. Now, I know we fumbled at the goal line, but that shouldn't be the end-all, be-all. That shouldn't be the, we gave it the old college try. They sputtered at times after that. So it was like, it was kind of, I would like to have seen more consistency with the offense on the road. Now, we're going to get a chance to see that in the playoffs. Even if we win the division, I know it's a long shot, but even if we win a division, we're not going to be the number 1 seed, so we're going to host a game. Maybe we can get lucky with an upset and host the second, but ultimately we're going to have to win a tough game on the road. And all the players are saying the right thing. So, it's fine. I mean, I'm going to just hold firm, not get too high, not get too low. Even after that 5-game win streak, I didn't get too high. It's all about how are we playing after the Washington game going into the playoffs and how healthy are we.
Yep.
That's it.
Big pun forever. I like that. The real lines are
we're
side.
still there.
In Detroit, yes, but we have your alpha male that's going to lead your pack. So that's why I'm not too worried in that sense. But, he brings up a good point, which I'm going in that sense, he's going to kind of lead me into another segment here. I have to talk about whole Micah Parsons holding calls. Those situations that since, week 4, week 6, I don't know, they haven't had a single holding call on Micah Parsons when you can almost pick every single play predetermined. Oh, you wouldn't have made it there. Well, guess what? There's a lot of situations where we didn't think he would make it. He makes it, stops him at the 1. We get a fumble. You don't know what you're doing. You're messing the game up. And yes, I understand that you're going to slow the game down but how do you get people to stop holding him is by flagging the shit out of them until they go, well, that's not going to work anymore. We got to change it up. It's like, if Shaq had made those free throws, you think they would have stopped with the hack of Shaq defense? I mean, there's a lot of stuff there.
Right.
So when I look at this team, I love where we're at. It just sucks that Hankins goes out. The run defense kind of took a step back. Of course, it takes Dan Quinn about a week, a game or so before he gets that on track. So I'm interested to see how they come out with a Detroit Lions team that is a very, very stacked on offense. Their defense is pretty good. Let's not say that they're terrible or anything like that. But their offense is where they'll lie. It's just if the running game can get going, if their passing game can go, they got great receivers, good tight end. I mean, it's a hell of a thing. How do you see our defense matching up with of course, the Detroit Lions offense?
I think this is a harder task than it was last week, and with all due respect. I just think only in this respect, Phil. I don't mean overall. I mean, Miami's dynamic. I get it. I'd rather play Detroit than Miami game. Where Detroit can hurt you is goes in direct a conflict with our weakness right now,
The running
which
game?
is our linebacking core.
Yeah.
Miami will hit the edges and break you that way. They'll break it, to the outside more times than not. Detroit, especially with David Montgomery, will run it right down your throat, which is, when teams run downhill on us, it could be scary, kind of like what Buffalo did. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm not picking Detroit to win the game, but we're home. We've won 15 in a row. It's Jimmy Johnson night.
Man.
I expect to win the game, but it's going to be a battle, and there's going to be a lot of points scored. Hey, Elena Walker, how are you?
Yes, this chat is kind of going as well, too.
Big
It's like,
Pun Forever's in the house. Haven't seen him here before.
I don't want to be a player no
I haven't
more.
analyzed your stuff, but welcome.
Yeah, but when I look at this team, I mean, Jared Goff, he's not on the bottom part of the NFL rosters. Let's just say that. When you talk about quarterbacks and where they rank, I'm not going to put Jared Goff in the bottom 20, for example. I would put him in the middle of the pack, if not, 11th or 12th maybe. He's a good quarterback, very accurate. If he has time back there, he can destroy you. I mean, really any NFL quarterback can do that. But, he has those moments, kind of like that whole Matthew Stafford where he'll just throw you a pick out of nowhere. You're like, oh, okay, Neil O'Donnell, what the hell was that? And so with that, I mean, they win and lose with Jared Goff. And, of course, they went ahead and got a running back that we were looking at when we were doing our draft stuff. How many times did we bring Jermaine Gibbs in as our possible running back towards the end of that first round or the second round, or where everybody thought he was going to be drafted the second or third?
Jameer Gibbs, yeah, exactly. We both had it. We're cooking up some scenarios where we drew him. Real quick, Kelvin Hicks, what up, man? Thanks for stopping by. Haven't seen you here before. Actually, this chat is pretty much half Eagles, half Cowboys fans. So, not all Cowboys fans, but thanks for stopping by, my man.
Yeah, it's a mix. It's a mixed bag. Let's just say that. What's up, Thomas Garrett?
Thomas Garrett. What's
Lady
up, buddy?
Libra, what's going on? Elena Walker,
Lady
welcome
Libra,
back.
How are you?
But yeah, so I mean, when you look at it, I look at the quarterback, and yeah, he's no slouch. Definitely up there in the sense of what we faced across the. Throughout our whole season here, there's been ones that have been, of course, ahead of him. But when you look at his weapons that he's able to throw to, I mean, you got to start. I think you got to start with the guy that you keep bringing up. I love his work ethic. That's just to see his work ethic with his father, with his brother, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dude, just if he can stay healthy, I think his whole problem, what's going to be his problem through his career, is going to be staying healthy. Otherwise, I mean, he is a weapon, and he loves playing football. No, he doesn't hardly ever.
He catches it. He's a beast, and he was healthy. I had him on my fantasy team. It's taking me to the championship weekend here, so he's a beast. Good luck stopping him. You got to make sure you just hold him down.
Jordan Lewis is going to be your guy, probably.
And
then when you, I mean, think about it. Jordan Lewis for the past couple of games have actually been balling. He has. And so I would rather trust him more on him than a lot of our other corners. I mean, nothing against Gilmore. When Gilmore gets insulted, he's all about football. And when Bland is an out route, he's got those as well covered. But when you got a speedster like this, man, this is. Unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of trailing from whoever's covering him because his cuts are amazing. But when he's not open, of course, their other guy is Sam Laporta, a guy that we talked about in the draft as well. I'm pretty sure we would all felt better about picking him up instead of Mazi.
To find out. Yeah, well, come to find out, Sam Laporta was heavily coveted by Mike McCarthy and Londa Wells, our tight end coach. In the first round. They were talking about taking him in the first round. I know me and Phil did a bunch of mock drafts, and we talked about it, and, we were always wondered if he would make it to the third round, type of deal. Well, little did we know, or little did I know. He went in the second round, and looking at it, I think he went in the second round. Or did,
I want to say he did. I want to say he did.
Dallas-
If not at the end of the first. Yeah, right early in the first, second round.
Dallas would have been better served taking him. Because what ended up happening, we took Mazi, then reached for Schoonmaker.
I think you're very right.
Quiz. Not to give up on them, because I'm not giving up on them.
My internet's being weird. Yeah, my internet's being weird.
Yeah.
I could feel it over here.
I feel it at yours. But anyway, the bottom line is he's got 9 touchdown passes.
Some stuff here.
That's a hell of a rookie season for the tight end out of Detroit. So, yeah, I love the player. So
how are you guys?
Ferguson,
how are you guys getting it on the broadcast? Is it really breaking up there a lot? Because I'm hearing a lot of break up there. So I want to see if that's me.
It's a big pun forever. You think Schoonmaker's going to be good, buddy? I'm not saying he's not. I just mean.
Yeah, it sounds messing up. I thought so. Hold on one second. Let me try something.
It is.
Yeah, Mark is in the chat. All right, let me change this. All right, try it again.
Check.
All right.
It sounds like when my mother-in-law talks to me.
Won't. Like, little Snoopy up in there.
Wow, that's the peanuts. Only breaking up when Bryan is talking.
Yeah, I think it's my internet. The Wi-Fi is being kind of iffy. It seems to know when I'm going to do the broadcast. Those freaking Xfinity people, man.
Time Phil. Gametime Bryan and Primetime Phil.
Yeah, at least you got it. At least you got it around there.
Love it, Matt. Good job.
Yeah,
Linus,
you guys.
That's it.
I don't know.
Linus? I thought
He's
it was
like
Linus.
Matt's like I don't know what time it is. I just know it's hi Phil and Bryan. What's going on, man? But thank you, man. I appreciate you coming through. So let's continue down this offense. I mean, we're talking about Sam Laporta, and when you look at where are we going to be? Is this a safety room that's going to have to take care of Laporta? Is it going to be Curse? Is it going to be all these guys covering him? Where do you see that happening?
It's going to have to be. It's going to have to be. Man, it's going to have to be. They're going to go 3 wide receivers and a tight end. So what we need on Jared Goff is what we need to do. Wanya Thomas, exactly. Big pun forever. We need to see more of Wanya. If you've watched the channel, Phil loves him some Wanya Thomas.
I do, man. I think he's just a difference maker. I following him through his college career, following him, even the little flashes that he's had. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's had to get in there, the ball's not around him, or he makes a tackle. But the times that he's kind of been on display, man, he's really come through. Helped with a lot of those games. The block punt at the beginning. But he's just a turnover machine. I really like what happens. There's just some guys that happen. Oh, all of a sudden the ball gets tipped in the air. Wanya just happens to be there. The fumble comes out. Wanya just happens to be there. And so he's just one of those guys, man. And so I think you kind of help the fates a little bit, kind of tip it in your direction when the guy is just out there. It's like for example, when we'll switch offense real quick just so I can make this point. Jake Ferguson, when he's on the field, Dak's accuracy, Dak's completion percentage, everything goes up a lot. That doesn't mean that it's Jake Ferguson doing it. That just means when his feet hit the field, Dak's accuracy is better. Whether it's to him or not him, doesn't mean that he's being thrown to. It just means his accuracy is better. And so he's just one of those guys I see on defense. And I'm right with you, Big Pun, man. Definitely with you. So I got to look at that thing, and I got to see, hey, how is that going to
Big Pun. 42-17, that would be a nice.
And this is where I see, I put Detroit in the same areas I put Miami. Probably not as high as scoring and everything, not as super powerful, but definitely a team that they give that same whole, they haven't beat anybody with a winning record. Well, guess what? That Dallas isn't one of those teams that care about that, and we can lose to those type of teams. But then again, we can really destroy them as well too. So I mean, it could be a score like that as well. And if you guys at the helm, I'll put it up here so you can see what he was saying, because this is what I had us kind of with the Miami game. I thought we were going to be 42-24. I thought we were going to get blown out, and to see that they hung in there, man, that was very, very big compared to where they were the week before.
It was, but there's no, it was, and I got accused of so you don't mind losing. It wasn't that I felt like you did, but in the end, there's no points for second place. But
No,
I
it
hear
still
ya.
sucks. It still sucks. You guys, you still lost. There's no
sucked.
good feeling.
But I know what you're saying. But we did knock out Waddle early. I mean, I'm not trying to couch it, but he didn't play much in the second half. So, we kind of caught a break there. It is what it is. But, I think that the coach of the Detroit Lions is going to want to run the ball at us.
And I think it's very smart.
Now.
That'd be very smart for them to do. They got two
Yeah.
great running backs right there. I don't want to say great, but they're good running backs. How about that? Jamar Gibbs, I think, is great.
they're
I
arguably-
think he's great. I think Montgomery's a tough son of a bitch. He just keeps coming at you, man. Like, just be real. Like,
Detroit is third in the league in running the ball and fifth in the league in passing.
boom.
So
There you go.
The offense is dynamic.
Yeah.
So I would say great. They are. I mean, they're really good. No offense to DeAndre Swift with the Eagles, but Montgomery holds on to the ball and is really exactly what they need and a perfect complement to Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, and the same thing. I mean,
Swift
Swift
is the all-around guy.
and Swift going
hold up.
Swift going to Philly, I think, is a great move in the sense of Philly's part. They're not really utilizing him correctly, except for that one game they really utilized him, and he kind of blew up. But I think he's a better fit in there compared to what who was it? Miles Sanders was their running back before. What's going there on the East Coast? I'm on the West Coast.
Carolina.
Angelica, I'm on the West Coast. I'm down here near Fort Myers and everything. So I'm Naples and stuff. So I don't know about that other coast, man. Whew.
Yeah, right.
Is there news going on? Is that why?
So,
It's like-
I don't know.
There's always some, the new GTA. I don't know if you've seen the preview to new GTA 6 happening in Miami, Vice City. Like that a lot of that stuff, man. I'm like, man, that's, woo. It's like, that is a little bit too close to home right
Yeah.
there. It's a little too-
Yeah, my son's a little annoyed because it doesn't come out until 2025.
I want to think 26. Rockstar always delays their games, so
Yeah.
probably at the end of 25 if it stays out
Yeah.
at 25. But one thing that I have, I mean, this offense, it all is going to happen with the offensive line. They've gotten some really good picks.
Yeah.
An Oregon guy who was obviously with Panu. They got a good offensive
Nice.
line. Yeah. They.
I think that's their weakness, though. I think
that would be their weakness on
definitely-
offense. Yeah, I definitely would agree. Probably up the middle.
Definitely think we could attack the O line. We're gonna have to.
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna win and score points.
And if you can get Jeff Goff off his game, I mean, and you can do it very early. He'll start gifting them to you. Now, this is where I have to make the shift because this is how I think we take on this Detroit team. We got to come out hot, man. We got to keep it on. We got to keep the pressure on to make them have to score. There's a difference between if they're just relaxed and scoring points. They can do that all day. It's the moment that you start putting pressure on this Detroit team that it just kind of folds and crumbles, and that's going to be their downfall in the playoffs. Now, whether it's us, whether it's any other team, if some team can put pressure on them by getting points on the board, which look at their defense, you look at our offense, it has a big recipe for a big day for this offense to really go off. Do they shoot themselves? All right. Looks like we are back. Hello. I think we're there. Yeah, I think we're pretty much back. I don't know how many people we're gonna actually have in the chat because. Can you guys see us?
What
at all?
happens? They have to.
They're just getting the same broadcast that was going. It just continues on. Yeah, so it just the call. It took so long that it knocked our Zoom call off. So I had to restart that whole thing. So yeah, so they'll probably start jumping back in here once we get going again. It's up. Just sucks. Love my internet providing service. I got fiber optic as well. That's what kind of ticks me off even more is that. You're supposed to have the best kind of stuff, and I couldn't even reset it on my app.
It's the friggin' internet, man. It is what it is. I suffer from the same issues, so. Damn Comcast.
So, anyways, as we go in there, I mean, we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys offense versus the Detroit defense, man. We're talking about, Dak they can move the ball down the field. It's just as long as they don't shoot themselves in the foot, man. There's been plenty of times where there's some questionable calls out there, but yeah, for the most part, I love what Dak was doing earlier. It kind of seemed like he got out of it, was out of sync with that one game. There's always going to be a game. The quarterback's not going to be perfect through all the whole season. That's the one guy you need to be perfect all season, and that's where you see the bigger contracts, the $50, $60 million contracts, is because those guys, 95% of the time, if not 100% of the time, they definitely need to be on their game, and that's what you're really paying for. But, how do you see this Dallas Cowboys offense attacking this defense? What's going to be your main weapon if you had to pick one?
Well, we got to pass the ball.
Yep.
We have to pass the ball. They're going to apply pressure, especially with Hutchinson, but we need to pass the ball. We need to pass to get a lead, and then we're going to mix in the run. I just think that Detroit's not going to be able to handle our offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll be able to score points. It's just, are we going to be able to stop Detroit? And we'll get to that. But, yeah, I think we're going to have to pass the ball, get CeeDee Lamb the ball early and often. Look for Brandon Cooks. Look for the jet sweeps with Cavante Turpin. Get the ball in
different
Turpin's
directions.
Hands. He's a speedster. And that'll all open up Pollard and Deuce Vaughn, who's active.
He's going to get an active game. Yeah, so I like that.
He is active. So
well, I think that's the one thing that kills this defense is, of course, speed. Speed is, power to power. We saw, man, when you're not ready physically to play ball with somebody. I think we saw that with Dallas and Buffalo. Man, it was just a more physical game. San Francisco in the beginning of the season, I think Arizona, even maybe back to that Arizona game, when they've gotten physical, they just haven't been ready. I like this team going into the game wanting to be physical, but if they don't talk about it, man, I question it when it finally pops them in the mouth. And you need to kind of be ready for it. If you're looking at this Detroit team, that's what they like to do. They like to power, like to hit you. If you look at their head coach, Dan Campbell, man, that's a recipe that he loves. I mean, he was a guy that when he played for the Cowboys, Giants, he was a tough son of a gun, So I really like how our offense can attack this defense. Its question is, it's always if. Will it? What if? It's kind of like one of those Marvel series. What if? So I think even special teams could get into thing. I'm not going to predict any kind of Turpin shit because let's be real, man. The Turpin stuff is kind of just, I'm tired of trying to predict that whole thing. Lady Lieber with the $5 super chat. I've got a song in here I can't hit, but we're going to try to hit one of these other ones.
That to me and his money.
Thank you very much.
I know you like that little last part there. I gotta probably just cut it. But that's how I'm gonna be going into this next upcoming season. I just definitely I gotta work on that stuff. But Lady Lieber says loud and clear, Primetime. Yeah, I've gotten kind of spoiled, I think, in the sense that I haven't been restarting my internet before the broadcast. And there's been some times where I've gotten caught doing that. So, and of course, this is one of those times. I
remind myself to do that.
Yeah, it's usually something I usually did, like, an hour or 30 minutes before our broadcast. Just haven't done it, man. It's just that's how I'm just unsynced from the game. I'm just not there. And it's at the end of the season. I'm like, man, it's not the end of the football season, Phil. Get your shit together, man. Try to use this holiday season as a more of a thing. But when I look at the special teams, I definitely want to jump back on the special teams. Audrey, I don't want to predict anything about he's doing a great job. Just keep up the great work. He's hitting field goals from kickoff. I love it. Definitely a weapon with that 60-yarder. Kind of opened my eyes to a lot of that stuff. On the sense of the kicking game, this is where I'm interested. I mean, you got Turpin back there that's going to be able to do some damage. I think, do you get Deuce Vaughn involved back there as well? Get some guy like that, some open field. He could definitely do some damage. But who does more damage? Would Turpin potentially do more damage, or would Deuce Vaughn? Because we saw Deuce Vaughn come out there one time. Wasn't the thing that he did back in college, kickoffs and stuff like that. So, do you like that?
Turpin, I mean, I think at this point, I think Turpin. I mean, most kickoffs are going to go into the end zone anyway, especially being in a dome. I mean, he'll get run on kickoff, but he won't get too many opportunities, if any at all. So it's more about the punt returns. But I just want to get Turpin the ball in his hands. That just opens up everything with his speed. Just get him in the jet or in the smoke screens and stuff like that. That's what I want. I'm done saying Turpin's going to return anything because it seems like his legs move too fast for his body, and he ends up tripping up somewhere along the line. Yeah, I mean he's had a good year, but I mean,
I like the potential that he's going to give you. He's going to give you one when you least expect it. I think that's just how he is. He's like that paycheck in the mail. The more you look at it and you're like, okay, it's coming. Is it today? Is it today? It doesn't come. But the moment that you forget about it, oh shit, that's right, the paycheck. So like, I'm gonna rip on you a little bit.
But I hear
you. Sorry, man. Coming off that cold as well.
We're both getting over it. I still have it a little bit.
So Bryan, man, I mean, offense, defense, special teams. It's gonna be a hell of a matchup. I think on both sides, coaching staffs. Man, it's gonna be some good football. If one team,
Deuce Vaughn, just the activation of Deuce Vaughn sets up something. What we saw in the preseason was special. He had a couple opportunities, not many. He had opportunities in the one game where he didn't have much success. That wasn't on Deuce Vaughn. We had a couple offensive tackles out at that point. The offensive lineman. He'll be fine. Fresh legs at this time of the year is going to be a welcomed addition. So I'm looking forward to seeing. Supposedly he's in for a few packages, so very curious to see how that's going to go.
Well, I'm just happy if these packages were made for him. Was he made to be an option in this package? For you throwing him into the Swiss blade of, you go and run Rico's thing. Like, no. This is not what we want him to do. We want there to be a package. That's when this offense is at its best, is when you're making plays specifically for these guys. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to have options within these plays. You can't just be like, okay, it's going to Turpin. If that's broken up, man, we're fucked. It can't be that way. He has to be an option. Yeah. Now, whether he's option 1 compared to option 3, that's a whole different story. But again, you can't.
It would be an option 1. Type situation. Give him the ball, give him opportunity, put the ball in his hands, and see what he can do with it.
And I just don't want it to be an option
within the offense.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So hey, everybody,
let's do a reverse.
Giving him the ball. What do you think's going to happen?
Hey,
it's got to be within.
They put CeeDee Lamb in the backfield. Who do you think's going to get the ball? Who do you think's going to get the
ball? Yeah, right. Well, listen. Just a little quick bit of info regarding Detroit. When we're on defense, 64% of the time, it's number 1 in the league. Detroit doesn't hide anything. When Jared Goff is under center, 64% of the time they're going to run the ball. That leads the league. So every time he's under center, not in shotgun, most of the time they're running the ball. So it's not. It's
they tip it off kind of like Lane Johnson with his foot.
We're gonna know what's happening. It's just, are we going to be able to do it? And I wanted to touch on this. I touched it on my live stream. They have juggled the lineup a bit. Obviously, Rashaan Evans has been cut, cleared waivers, has not been brought back. They elevated Matt Waletzko. They need to get him in.
We need to figure out what we have.
Happens to Tyron Smith. Chuma Edoga's not getting the job done, and for whatever reason, they're unwilling to move Tyler.
I don't
this
get
year,
it.
So
it's whatever. Like last year, we wanted Tyler to stay still. We wanted to figure out left tackle. Let's lift him and left guard. No, let's check him.
Then he went
immediately. As soon as it happened, they stuck him out there. They were like, okay, so that's got to be the plan going into this year. Tyron Smith, as soon as he gets hurt, he's going to kick out there. Nope. Oh, your guy's going to get beat a bunch. Yep, still going to be that guy. Like, my question is, what the heck is Asim Richardson doing in practice that these coaches have no faith in that whole thing? Why are you not sticking Tyler Smith over there and Rashad and Richards in that middle, or TJ Bass? We love TJ Bass.
I don't think they think he's ready for it strength-wise. I don't know. I'm guessing here. I'm spitballing. But, God forbid something happens to Terrence Steele, I want TJ Bass to play the right guard, and then I want Zach Martin to go out the right tackle. I know he doesn't want to do it, but in a pinch,
if it's to get you,
if
it's to get you to a Super Bowl, I think you need to get your ass over to that right side.
Is, man. This is all hands on deck.
What's up, Ruben Walls?
Yeah, so, but like what I was getting to was Rashaan Evans was cut. Now, I don't understand our whole philosophy this whole season regarding linebackers. We exposed a lot of our young linebackers that were picked up by other teams. I'm not sitting there telling you that they're Pro Bowlers, but they were obviously better than a Rashaan Evans.
I like Malik Jefferson. I think that's going to be a good one.
But, I mean, he's the one guy we were able to get back.
Because of injury?
It's like we exposed a lot of guys. We got rid of a lot of guys. Exposed them out on the practice, released them, and they got picked up. So, but what they plan on doing, which I don't know why it took so long, like I've been telling you, Damone Clark is not, he's not playing a great.
Yeah.
Like the problem with Damone is he's playing too much. The same with Marquise Bell. Damone Clark, and there are a lot of people that heard me say this, but I'll repeat it again. Basically, Damone Clark was in for 96% of the plays against Buffalo, and that dropped down to 64% against Miami. Marquise Bell, similar, dropped down to in the 40s against Miami. Marquise Bell is 220 pounds soaking wet. He's a safety. You can't be playing linebacker down in and down out. Occasionally, it's fine. So what they're going to do, they're going to slide Donovan Wilson up into the box.
I like that.
Where he should have been.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's where he is. That's where he excelled last year. And I think they were just trying things out. Once Leighton went down, which is on our front office, let's not blame Leighton Vander Esch. We went into the season with Tyron Smith and Leighton Vander Esch and counting on both of them. And that, again, you see where that's left us. Our defense has really, really suffered over the last 4 games. It has not been good. We went from getting 4 or 5 sacks a game to getting 1 sack a game. And that's just because teams are running on us. So, I think Donovan Wilson being able to play in the box with Damone, sprinkle in Marquise Bell, sprinkle in Jaron Kerr, sprinkle in whoever, that's a lot better option. Why it took so long, I don't know, but that's good. And
I'm not really surprised with the Rashard Evans. I mean, he was doing okay. He wasn't amazing. We had other guys on those edges that you could bring in. So I'm not really. I mean, the edge. It just seems like the edge. We have a lot of people. So if you're going to lose somebody, I guess that's not the spot that I'm really worried about. I think they're at that point. They're trying to figure out, okay, who do we cut to bring Waletzko back? And then all of a sudden he gets charged with marijuana possession, and then boom, the next
was an by the way.
Yeah, and that was the next following day he gets cut. So I mean, they really kind of used it as, okay, that helped us make our decision. You can't tell me that that's the main decision when you got Sam Williams getting busted with possession and chasing and gun in the car, and he doesn't get cut or traded or anything like that. So you can't tell me that that's the main reason. It just has to be, where you're going to cut it from. You're definitely not going to cut it from your safety room, your corners, your wide receivers, tight ends. Yeah, it's nowhere else. I mean, it has to be there. To me, it's not. I mean, even with Rashad Evans, probably not going to be picked up. You could probably bring him back later if something like that was to happen. But how long is this Waletzko thing going to last? That's my question. I mean, I have no faith in that he would actually stay healthy.
Both shoulders at this point.
Yeah.
So
he hurt his vagina too. Like, I'm sorry. That's more of a rip on him than it is on
Ronnie,
female.
You hit it, Ronnie. You hit the nail on the head. Sam is just a better player. Like in the old days, Jimmy Johnson, he would cut a guy for falling asleep in the meeting.
Yeah, he went to the asthma field.
If it was Michael Irvin, he would give him a pillow. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mark Hutchins.
Cowboys
need D more.
Need that D.
Need D more, no huddle. More is rotation on defense.
It's all about the money, money, money. All about the money, money, money.
He starts to come and then he pulls out.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you for the wonderful super chat. But yeah, he's right, man. Cowboys need to do more. They need more no huddles. They do a great job. I mean, what team doesn't do a great job? It's just, are you making your defense tired?
S'mores?
You want s'mores during the huddles?
Watching defense.
Hey, look, man, we can get more of a team camaraderie if we're in the huddle with s'mores. I'm just saying, man. You cannot have a good time with s'mores.
Yeah, that's funny. But he pulls out. It's been a while since I've seen a hole that big. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the other thing I want to talk to you about. I haven't really talked to you, so we're gonna bring it up. So what's your opinion? Mazi was drafted, and he weighed 336 pounds. Now
I'm not happy.
290.
I'm not happy with the decision because what are you trying to turn him into? He's a power guy. He's a power guy. You don't take weight away from him and go, okay, well, just be that guy still, man. It's like, well, maybe you can get up from your butt off the ball quicker if you weigh less. I'm not really understanding that. If anything, he should be, whether he's getting it to muscle and then he's going to gain that weight
I don't know
later.
If it's him or the team. That's the thing. It's secret.
It's got me baffled up a little bit. Froze up.
So when they say, Hankins is out, Mazi's got to step up. No. At this point, Mazi's stepping in for Osa Odigizua. He's not the replacement for Hankins.
My Wi-Fi switched over to the direct line, so maybe that was the little skip that you may have had there.
Yeah, so
it does that. Likes to do that in the middle.
It did freeze up for a sec, and then it.
Yeah,
let go loose.
When I look at Mazi, I mean it's just not the right. I mean you need every part of his development within these 2 to 3 years, and by making him go backwards by losing weight, I don't think that's a good thing. Unless he's going to become, unless you're trying to push him to the side.
I don't know what's worse, if he just lost weight on his own.
He's nervous.
Well,
people bring up the fact, I've heard you bring this up, but they've talked about the fact that he's still in the college shape, so he not be making it because he might be tired and stuff like that. Well, I can't see that, man. They haven't played him enough for him to get tired. I would say he's probably played half a college season with how much he's actually played, so I don't think that's the case. I just think he's just a little bit over his head, and again, he's at end of the first round.
You're a team.
Yeah.
This is my only issue. Okay, and I'm not crapping on Mazi, no pun. I'm not.
I like Mazi. I think he's going to be a great piece. Player. He's going to be a great piece.
But my problem is that
Leroy Glover.
We needed an immediate guy. That's all. If we're going to have to do a project somewhere, I would have rather have taken that player in the third round.
Well, and think about that.
That's all.
We needed those guys to really be. Need your second
1 year. We needed them,
and none of them.
I mean, Overshone wasn't going to start.
Yeah, he's going to ball, though. He was going to ball.
But when Leighton got hurt, you bet your ass he would have been a starter. So, this is where we're at. It's this circumstance. Now, No Pun did bring up something that I want to touch on as well. He brought up, going forward about having the two cornerbacks. We're going to be – this is – not counting Gilmore, which I really hope we could bring back. I'm not holding my breath, but I would love to bring him back. At his age, I think it's an opportunity.
Yeah, well, that's what I was all about, signing him for 2 years.
His secondary, or I won't say secondary. I'll say corners, because our safeties are still a little suspect. But
they're better. Darren Woodson, that hopefully gets into the Hall of Fame this year, but... Man, it's just, I don't know, man. This team, the secondary, I really like where it's going since Dan Quinn has kind of taken the helm. The defensive guys, the only thing I don't like about it is that it's just all ex-Atlanta players, man. Like, by now, I think that's it. I should not be seeing any more Atlanta players being brought in. I think you pretty much brought everybody in that you could possibly bring in. So I mean, so to me, it's just like let's have it stop now, guys. Let's bring in some players, not guys that I know. Hey man, I owe him $5. I told him I'd get him on the next team. Like I don't want any of that. Like I recognize him. I brought him over to Thanksgiving. I want I just want a different team. I mean, keep seeing those Atlanta guys. All I can think of is 28-3. So sorry about that, but that's the exact first thing I think of.
Yeah, big punt says for grooming Eric Scott Jr. Yeah.
And I hope so. Eric Scott.
We really liked Eric Scott, but
he was getting beat a lot during the preseason.
The camp.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you kind of expected from a lot of. I think Bland was kind of the exception to that. But I like Eric Scott's potential. He's got really good college tape. To get him where you got him, you just can't give up on him that easily.
Yeah.
But he'll definitely get some more opportunities, I think, next year.
That's my thing, Mark Hudson. We're in a win-now type of situation.
I agree. And that's what upsets me about the front office. I think you've pointed out, Mark's pointed it out. Mark was definitely a big person on this one, was the fact that, you have holes. You just got your ass, you had Buffalo just ran all over you. Do you think they go out and they sign a defensive tackle to make a difference? Trade, not trade, because obviously trade's a little gone.
Let's not forget. We re-signed Hankins. We gave him the veteran minimum. We're not like showing him any love at all. Where to me, he's deserving of a couple-year deal.
Yes. This is not on him. I'm talking about who's the number two. Who's the number two pass run stopper?
Cowboys almost didn't have Hankins.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
Because they were giving him on the cheap when we're saying now is when's Hankins coming back? We said that last year. Dude's a baller. I don't care. He's just a guy. He's a trash can full of dirt who's actually getting some pressure this year.
Yeah, he is.
I think
Osa as well. I mean, I got to give Osa.
Just lock him up for a
beast.
You sign him to a 3-year deal with a low guarantees. So he'll take it. He loves playing here.
Yeah, I think even by his third year, he's going to be definitely better than like Carl Davis? Is that who we picked up?
Yeah, Carl Davis is not as good as I was hoping.
Yeah.
Trade Lance next year should get us a good player.
Yeah, if you trade,
that's going to happen.
I think well, I mean, the contract's there. They're definitely not going to take his this 5th-year option. There's no way they're going to pay him $7 million to sit on the bench. So I think you might see a release, but sign back or re-sign or whatever to be the backup quarterback. And I think that's perfect for him because we saw what happened when he got thrown into that spotlight. The media's on there. If you cannot handle San Francisco's media shit, you are definitely not going to handle Dallas's media stuff. It's just those bigger market type of teams like that. They're going to tear you apart. So right now, him being the backup, and anytime anybody talks good about him is going to be more like, Dak sucks, and we need to put Trey Lance in there. The whole Cooper Rush.
Trade Lance to the Broncos for a 3rd rounder.
Dude, let's talk about that for a second because that one, and of course we're taking out of our realm, so I'm going to switch it up and switch the background. But, let's talk about that. Like, to me, that whole conversation between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson now looks totally different on the sideline than what it did during the game. Sometimes you just think, okay, they're upset. They, the game, I want you to do this, you're doing this instead, or whatever. But man, now that you hear about this whole front office, we need you to redo your contract in the sense of taking the injury clause. And I don't know what all they wanted him to restructure and everything like that. I just know,
they wanted him to restructure the deal.
Bad business. You offered him all this money to lure him away from other teams. And he was still coming off that, he had the surgery on the thumb, I think, as well. I mean, remember when Dak came back, those 15 interceptions? This is what Russell Wilson was having to deal with in general, too, with something in his hand. And so you're not seeing great football. All of a sudden, he starts playing better. This team starts winning. Now you're seeing him thrown to the bench. What are they trying to do here? Like, are they trying to get some better draft?
Wilson said Friday that the Broncos approached him about waiving a guarantee in the 5-year.
When they were in week 8. When they were week 8.
Yeah. He's already. I don't feel sorry for Russell Wilson. He's already guaranteed $39 million in 2024, whether he's on the team or not.
Yeah.
And another
dead
37.
Money. Look at the dead money.
The dead 2025.
The dead money is ridiculous. Like
Russell. I don't feel sorry for you, brother.
Well, dude, I'm not on him. I don't look at him in anything. I look at more of the Denver Broncos, man. Like, okay, your buyer's remorse. Like, this is very bad business to act all you. No. I'm not. Again, I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about more Denver Broncos. Like, just in the sense of the front office, that whole shit. It's just, to me, that's just really bad. Now you're not. You realize that Denver, as a Denver team, you are going to lose free agents now because of the crap you're doing.
Obviously,
they're not going to want to sign in Denver. And who's going to want to coach
him? If he is on the team, they were going to lose him. So they're going to save a little bit by not having him on the team. That's basically what it comes down to.
But the dead money is ridiculous.
Screwed with him, and you're pretty much screwed with Adam. So you might as well go with Adam. And, get rid of the diva, otherwise known as Russell. But
unless you find a team that's willing to take some, I don't know, man. There's a lot of dead money there, and so I just don't see it happening unless there's a restructure. And I say, if I'm Russell, screw that, man. Like, he's been a very nice guy through most of his whole career.
I just laugh because this time going into last year, before they re-signed Jalen Hurts, the Eagles reached out and made a trade offer. Howie made a trade offer to Denver, and Russell Wilson turned it down.
I just think it's funny. Glimmerman makes a point here, and I think it's funny. Now you're going to pay this guy all this money, you're going to put him on the bench. Like,
that man his
what?
time.
What? You got to do it like Tony Pollard, man. Like, how were you doing in the beginning of the Tony Pollard? We're going to pay you your $10 million, but we're going to run the hell out of you. We're going to give the ball in your hands, just make you keep running up the middle even though nothing's there. Like, we're going to get our money's worth. And now you're turning around going, well, we're not going to play you. Okay. You're just going to pay me. Okay. That's fine. What happens if the first guy gets hurt? You think I'm just going to come on in? Now you want me to play under this weird... It's just... To me, the whole thing just stinks, and it's just bad business by Denver.
They do it all the time.
It just seems like a Dallas Cowboys move. It seems like a very big Dallas Cowboys move.
This is why the players aren't going to give when it comes to their
contract. I don't think they get screwed so much.
The owners can do this shit at the drop of a dollar. The owner's basically doing it. He's got this coach's back, basically. So, it is what it is. Why you like it? No, but it is what it is. That's why you can't begrudge these players from getting their money.
I thought Payne got a new contract.
What happened?
You're saying Deron Payne. I thought he got a new contract, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I think he did.
That's what I was saying.
I'm not sure.
I'm not really positive.
We're going to pursue. Yeah, right. If he was not franchised, keep an eye on that name in free agency. Yeah, I don't know. He might have resigned a.
I thought he did last year. Thought he did.
But I'm not positive.
Could be thinking of the guy next to him.
Broncos going to cut Wilson after the season.
They won't though. That's like $80-something million of dead money. Like, that's not going to happen. That is not. Then they got to strip their whole team and just be like, all right.
You ain't hiding with Russ. And you can't call Russ on the phone. You got to go through his handler. And hell no. Not happening.
So Justin Madubuike, is that what his name?
Matabuke.
But anyway, so I mean, I had to jump on that because I saw that in Twitter world, and I was like, you got to be kidding me, man! Like, this is the kind of stuff that we're doing, and the season hasn't even ended. We're 2 games. Are they eliminated from the playoffs? Is that why we're having this kind of, we're going to start the starting quarterback? I'm not really understanding that.
Glimmerman, I told you not to give him $10 million, didn't I? You gave him 10 when you could have probably got him for 6.6 or
5, 6. Yeah, I would say right around there, 5, 6.
But whatever, it is what it is. Not that we're. I don't care. We don't need. That $3 million would have just went into one of somebody's contract. They're going to re-sign Dak.
They would have kept it to roll it over. Stupid.
Yeah, they're going to get some money next year because they're going to re-sign Dak, and that'll free up some money. There's going to be an odd man out. I just hope it's not Gilmore. But the Pollard will be gone. There'll be a lot of people gone because of that.
Well, there's certain people that that did it, because you still got to pay CD. I mean, CD's got to be paid.
CD.
You got Micah's coming up like 2 years or so.
CD and Micah. and Dak.
Dak.
All have to get done this
Those are the ones that are need be type of situations.
And then you have Brandon Cooks, and then
you hope you get him out of good contracts, but
you got Brandon Cooks, Gilmore.
I think by the time you get Brandon
J.
Cooks
Ron
to
Curse.
re-sign, because Brandon Cooks already re-signed at least for next year, and he
he
lowered.
did?
Yeah, he already lowered his contract because he was already on a 2-year contract. He lowered his salary for this year and next year to be with the Cowboys, so he is with them next year. I think it just depends if you're in the same category next year as you're not using him as much. Don't get me wrong. Again, an amazing weapon that he's winning games right there. That Miami game, that last drive, he catches that ball because. You're not going to CD.
Right.
That's a big thing. You need a guy like that. So I wouldn't mind keeping him on the team. But if you're not utilizing him, I just don't see the $14, $15 million contract,
Yeah, and you got Gilmore, J. Ron Curse, Tyler Biotis. These are all people that are up. So we could talk about that after the Super Bowl.
I could walk away from Tyler, Like, nothing against Tyler. I like Biotis. If you can get him at a good price, then yes. But I don't mind him being the odd man out.
I'm not in love with him.
Because I like some other guys. TJ Bass I really like. Hoffman is really, really good. So, I mean, so I like his guys that can come in there. And here we go. Internet problems again. Here we go. And another one.
I just like you.
Another one.
But anyway, let's go back.
Brian Thomas, yeah.
All right, so let's go back.
You can cut Gallup. I'd have to look into the numbers, Big Pun. I don't know that you can. His cap.
I think he's still got something. I still think he got another year or two before we can kind of walk away from him.
Brad Harris, what I would do with Tyron is offer him a significant. I wouldn't offer him the $1 million a game BS. I would offer him far less and call his bluff that he's either going to retire or go to another team. He'll come back. I would give him like 10 mil with.
I could do 10 mil. I could do 10 mil.
Something like that. I think he's really good when he plays, but you have to act like he's not playing.
Yeah.
And get somebody. Mm-hmm. If you're not willing to, if you want the Tyler to be, I keep hearing, well, once the timer is gone, Tyler is going to just slide out there and leave.
Why? That's stupid
fine
to me.
But that's fine though. If that's what you want to do.
If you can't find somebody to replace him,
Bass.
then I'm okay with it. But if you're going to take your left side of the line and solidify it like you did with Zach Martin for a whole decade or so, I'm okay with doing that and leaving Tyler Smith there. I mean, think about that. Well, a lot of people weren't high on Tyler Smith. The whole media was making fun of it. Only a handful of people were actually like, this is a really good pick. Everybody was like, they reached. This is terrible. And now look at it, man.
I want that big O-line.
That's what I want.
Of Houston. University
I want O-line. I want O-line.
Yeah, my man is a mammoth. He's like 6'7", 340-pound left tackle.
Favorite man, I love it. If Biotis is gone, get me someone that can snap the damn ball. Call Fredbeard. Yeah, that one was another one. That was another one that shocked me, and we talked about that before on this channel. Where when Frederick, I was like, who? And then he turns around and becomes this amazing center. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna shut up. That was the moment that I was like, okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah, right.
Especially with offensive linemen. That's why I
love Tyron. He just doesn't stay healthy enough. Yeah. Cowboys not drafting O-line in the first round. We'll see. I would say O-line / linebacker.
I wish though,
probably
Big
not
Pun.
linebacker in the first.
I
think they take best player available. Really. I don't know who if they don't take O-line, what are they
need?
Take?
Linebacker,
edge, maybe
defensive tackle. If there's a good one, it depends. But I don't know.
Best player. This is where we
best
get
player
hurt,
available. I love that. I love that. Best player available.
Just
Give me options E. There it is.
Yeah.
None of the above.
But Michael,
let's talk about some of these.
Done. OLDL. Yep. I love it.
And that's why I'm okay with building that. I mean, the rest will come. You already got weapons for that other stuff. I mean, you got to get secured. If you can draft that offensive line, man, that would be huge. Let's see. Mark Hutchins says they will trade Trey Lance off this offseason as soon as they sign Dak to a new contract. Man, it's hard to think that they would, man. Hold on. I got to hit you with a super chat.
Insert cash or select payment type.
Shut up and take my money.
When I look at that, I see him as our backup. Like, that's who I see as the next Cooper, what was it, Cooper Rush, being that's what he is. I just that's what I see him as, is that backup, a very good backup. Let me just tell you that. So go ahead, Brian. You go ahead and say something with the
what?
I don't know. Yeah, I can see something on the tip of your tongue.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, when I Trey Lance. I mean, when I think about him,
yeah,
I like.
I was going to say so.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I know my partner. My partner.
Listen. Yeah, no, you're right. Trey Lance. I don't think you're going to see Cooper Rush here next year.
That's what I agree.
So,
I very much agree on that.
$7 million is fine for a backup quarterback. So I don't see what everybody.
If you're talking to him, going, look, man, we'll do that. If you play ball with us the next contract.
Try and extend him.
Yeah, I would think so too.
He's young enough. I'm not saying a super long deal.
Now you get about $3 or $4 million. I think you can get him for.
Maybe you throw out the contract and do a
3-year, $12 million
3-year deal with
a little bonus if you have to play a certain amount of snaps, or if you get something like that.
Yeah, maybe 18 mil guaranteed, something like that, and spread it out, add a void year, whatever. That's a hell of a backup.
You know what I like about that?
You have a young,
You know what I like about it?
Athletic, strong-armed guy. All right, well, we're going to finish my thought, and then we're going to get our pick, and then we're going to get the heck out of here. Yeah. Because we have a gremlin in the system tonight. Yeah. Are we still on?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, hopefully we're on, people. All I was saying was I like Trey Lance as the backup. Well, hopefully we win. But if something happens and we don't, and it's already wrapped up, start Trey Lance next week. So go on here too.
Well, yeah, earlier. Why?
Okay. Well, anyway, do we know that we're being watched or no?
Yeah, on mine it says that we're good now, so we're good.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get to our pick.
Yeah. Well, I want to go through the NFL. Let's go ahead and go through the NFL and stuff. Hopefully, this will
the whole NFL.
Yeah. Let's go through the games. What we like to do. If this happens again, where it switches over the Wi-Fi.
Back now. Okay.
Yeah. It just dropped. So many people leave. This sucks.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's kind of all right. Baltimore Ravens at home -3.5 against the Miami Dolphins. Baltimore -3. It's actually 3.5 against the Dolphins.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. I think Baltimore continues their dominant run. They the storyline. There's so many storylines that can come out of this. Okay, why is it not clearing? Hello, clear. All right, nice. Okay, my shit's all being weird. There we go.
This is
OBS, YouTube, internet. I don't know which part of it is, but anyways. So when I look at this matchup, I think Baltimore can continue this on. This would be a great team. This would be a great win for Miami to be able to dominate. Give people doubt. Okay, well, maybe Baltimore is not automatically given to be in the Super Bowl. It would give people some doubt, and that's just exactly how this season is playing out. Anytime you get any confidence, this guy is directly the MVP of the season, this team is in the Super Bowl, then the next following week, they just get blown out, and you're just like scratching your head, and Dan Orlovsky's got to trip over his own words. So when I look at these two teams, this is be a great win for Miami, but I see Baltimore continuing their role just because I got to give them the home field advantage.
Yeah, I see Miami winning the game. I think Baltimore is riding high after last week. I think Miami comes in and, I'm surprised that it's only a field goal game. So, give me the Dolphins.
Just because I think they got to give Dolphins something. I like it. I like the divide. That means that's how kind of a game it can be. It could go both ways. And I think great victory for either one that walks out of there.
I just think it's a letdown game for the Dolphins. For the Ravens.
Dolphins
did win the division. So
but Miami just won against a good team.
Ravens, but
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's two different teams too.
Next ugly game, Houston at home -3.5 against the Tennessee Titans. C.J. Stroud is back.
C.J. Stroud's back. I really like him as a quarterback. How is what's his call it from the draft? What was the draft day?
No, Will Levis is healthy,
Will-
but he's not. He's not playing.
Would you like to call him Bo Callahan? I think that's what you.
Bo Callahan?
That's what I was
Bo
trying to
Callahan.
get. Bo Callahan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not playing. I'm going to give this to Houston. Tennessee backup quarterback.
Yeah, me
There's
too.
somebody pretty good, but I just see Houston more in the
don't
hunt
know.
to try to get
I don't
into
know.
that playoffs. So I got to give Houston this little matchup here.
Yeah, I think Houston probably will eke out a close one, but you never know. That's an ugly game. It's a divisional game. It'll be a field goal game
It's
one
in
way or
Houston,
another. So give me the points, and if I can get 4 points, I'm seeing anywhere from 3.5 to 4. Give me the points, and Houston wins by a field goal. So I'll agree with you there. All right, next game, Tampa Bay with a chance to knock out the Saints. Tampa Bay is hosting New Orleans. They're a 2.5-point favorite against the visiting Saints.
So this is where I would say my instant thought is to take Tampa Bay in this game. But I will stick to my original story weeks and weeks and weeks ago that this division is so effed up that they will tie it. And they would tie at the end, and it'll be some stupid divisional thing, and they're just like, nobody wants to go to the playoffs. Nobody wants to stay home either. So I think New Orleans wins it just because it's a rivalry in the division, and that would even them up at 8-8. So I'm going to go Saints in this one, even though Tampa Bay should win this game.
Yeah, I'll go Tampa at home. They would knock out the Saints. Cowboys corners in the house. What's going on?
What's up,
We are
Cowboys
holding
corner?
down Arlington. Can't wait for the game tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, we need a big win, Mike. Yes, I'll take Tampa at home to knock out the Saints out of the playoffs and move on. We'll be playing most likely in Tampa again. So
Check out his YouTube
next-
page if you guys haven't. Cowboys Corner.
yeah, next game is Indianapolis. Minus 3.5 at home against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Aiden O'Connell, the dude that we wanted to draft in the fourth round. And right before we pick him, of course, he goes off the board, and I don't know if they would have gone that route, so they end up picking Fehoko at that same spot. Haven't seen a lick of Fehoko all season. I'm glad we didn't take O'Connell. As I see him play now, I'm just like, God, that is just not good football, but he's winning. Is it because of the team around him? Is it because of the culture of the coach coming in now, Pierce? Even when he talks in the interviews, he's like, I'm going to kick him in the ass as soon as we leave in the parking lot. Like, he has no filter, and he doesn't care who's listening to him. This is just like, when we go to check the mail tomorrow, I'm going to punch him in the face. Like, it's just that's the kind of attitude that he's brought to this team. So I love that. I think the Raiders pulled this off, even though it's in Indianapolis.
Definitely.
I think the Raiders they're playing better football. Crosby's a
Raiders
beast.
are hot right now.
Yeah. Yes, I have
That
to
coach
agree.
has got them balling.
Yes, they do, and it's despite whoever they have at quarterback. It seems, they can't use their main weapon as well. But yeah, we'll see.
Next game, Buffalo Bills minus 14 against New England.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty.
Have fallen.
But this is the type of I'm going to pick Buffalo, but this is the exact type of game that Buffalo loses. Like, this is the game where you're like, oh yeah, they should just dominate, and then they turn around and they lose, and you're just like, well, what? Like, it's like, but I just think even if they turn it over 3 or 4 times, I still think
Give me the
Buffalo still
points.
wins it.
don't
I still
care.
think Buffalo
Give me
wins
the
it.
damn points.
Yeah.
Give me the points. New
Yeah,
England's defense.
he's gonna win by
Give me the
28.
14.
Yeah, they're going to win
Maybe.
by 28.
You're
or
probably right. But. Next game for our Eagle fans. The line is going up and down.
Excuse me, sorry.
Up and down, up and down. Eagles minus 11.5, 12 to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I don't know if Kyler Murray's playing or not. Did he practice today? Does anybody know if Kyler practiced?
No.
It's like ridiculous. He missed back-to-back practices. So, yeah,
Yeah, again, Philly, inside Philly, the referees,
I hope so,
everything
Brad.
everything that comes by. Man, of course I want Arizona to win. I mean, I'd rather it to happen. I mean, I guess, just because it happened to us, they do have a good recipe to be able to attack this defense. It's just, will they stick to their guns? Will that Arizona team
Right.
falls? I still got to go Philly, man. I just can't think if they're going to lose any of the next 2 games, it's not going to be this one.
I think If Kyler plays, I think Arizona keeps it close. If Kyler don't, they get blown.
That would be awesome. I would
see.
love for them to win, but it's gonna be tall.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we had our chance, and it is what it is. So, I'm gonna root for Arizona. So,
of course.
Fuck it, give me the points. We're calling Arizona. Chicago -3 at home against the visiting Atlanta choking Falcons.
Ah, man.
Yummy.
If you're in Chicago. Oh man, this is gonna be a tough game. Don't bet on this game. I'm gonna go Atlanta on this one.
The Bears.
Yeah,
The Bears.
That was a hard one.
Yeah, got money on the Lions tomorrow. Oh jeez. Sorry about
All right,
your
Mr.
loss, bro.
Mr. Coleman. I think you need to stick to college football,
Dennis
sir.
G coming in swinging.
Brad Harris, I love it.
Dennis.
Sorry for your loss, Tyler. You're gonna lose that money.
All right,
You're gonna lose that money.
Let's go to the next crap game. Washington left-hand up Commanders hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Washington is getting 13.5 points at home. My, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, I don't even see San Francisco having a tough time with this one.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome if Washington all of a sudden pull out the best game of their whole season.
Niners,
but that's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. They may let up on them a little bit.
30-13.
But San Francisco, I got to pick this up, man. Wow. Yeah.
Now, this next game, this next team, who would have thought? Okay, this next team is going to maybe the key to our season. Not the Giants. The Giants are hosting. They're getting 5.5 points at home against the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are going into MetLife as a 5.5 point road favorite.
Man, is Taylor playing quarterback?
Tyrod, yeah.
Tyrod Taylor? I like how he moves the ball. I mean, he's definitely got control of that offense, and it looks really, really good. Has the ability to deep ball. That doesn't mean shit. Still Rams.
Tommy Cutlett's got benched.
Yeah, I got to go Rams on this one. It's just New York, man.
Well, Rams. I'm gonna go with the Rams. But Rams actually hold. Rams could be spoilers in the playoffs. I think Rams make the playoffs, and I think Rams could give a few teams a hard time.
Yeah, them in Green Bay, I think.
Looking forward to that. I think the Rams, nobody's going to want to play the Rams in the playoffs. Green Bay.
I think they're right on the verge of elimination, though, too.
It ain't like you're going to Lambeau, so
That's
the
true.
Rams,
That's true.
I would be worried if I was a team. Like the Rams going to San Fran could actually be a game. Rams going to Philly.
Well, you see what happened in
game.
those years. I mean, that's usually the team that beat in San Francisco and knocked them out of the playoffs. That's it's been interesting.
All right, next game on the docket, the Trevor Lawrence he's not playing. Jacksonville Jaguars -4 against the Carolina Panthers.
I still gotta go Jacksonville with this one. Even with Lawrence out, I think they just hand the ball off, and I think that's good enough. We know you're gonna run. Yeah, stop it. Your team's not good enough to stop it. Your secondary is amazing. Passing on them is tough, but they're not going to need to. So I think Jacksonville can run the ball. Boom, they win the game.
Yeah, all right. I'll go with Jacksonville. It's another crap game. It's a shame. I feel bad for Jacksonville, but it is what it is, man. Not very underwhelming this year. Next game, I think this will be a decent game. Seattle Seahawks at home, -3.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like Seattle in that game. What says you?
I'm sorry, what one was that? Pittsburgh versus Seattle?
Seattle at home, -3.5 against Pittsburgh. I like Seattle.
You like Seattle, man. I'm going to go Pittsburgh on this one. Seattle, to me, is playing since the Cowboys game, it's been kind of rocky. It's not, a game or two or whatever. It's just not the
is for a
same. They're not
playoff
moving
spot, I
the,
think, though.
and it doesn't mean shit in Seattle. I'm gonna go more Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been on the uphill kind of battle where I think Seattle, since that Dallas game, has just not been the
Good
same.
game, though. I think that's
So,
a good game.
Yeah, so I mean they did beat Philly and everything, but I mean I just I don't know. I think it
Kansas
is.
City
Hopefully, it is a
Chiefs.
good game.
Yeah. Kansas City Chiefs at home, -6.5 against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow,
Joe
this would
Burrow
normally be a
less.
really this would normally be a really good matchup. The
Awesome
backup
game,
quarterback's
but-
been really good though. I mean he's
Yeah,
leading
I
that
like
offense.
The Bengals here.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Bengals too. I just think right now Kansas City is in like this turmoil, and
I think the Chiefs may eke out a win, but
could.
they're not going to cover.
What's
I
the
don't
point?
think Chiefs can blow anybody out right now. I just don't think they can. They're banged up.
they are at home,
They're
so I mean
not
that'll
very
help
good.
them. They'll help them. They're just. I feel that this is the type of a team that can turn it on in any moment.
Yeah.
And so
Well, the only thing is, I'll couch that. I did hear that the Cincinnati, their main receiver may not play. This
Jamar
is a
Chase,
game probably that the Chiefs will probably win.
Yeah,
The more I
okay.
think about it.
Yeah.
But I don't, they'll probably.
that makes
win
sense.
this
If
game.
Jamar's not playing and then you don't got another, I
Jamar
got to give
Chase is
more.
out, so.
Yeah, I give more KC then.
Denver Broncos -3.5 against the visiting Los Angeles Chargers. Eesh, Jesus. Man.
I think the Broncos too. I guess they're not going to have. They're going to put their backup quarterback in. Who's that?
Yeah,
Lock?
I don't know who the hell it is,
Who the hell is it? Like,
Doesn't matter.
I just don't think it matters. Yeah, I mean KC doesn't have their not KC, but the Chargers don't have their starting quarterback either, and the backup didn't look any
they don't have
better.
a quarterback. They don't have a coach. They don't
Yeah,
have much
they-
of anything.
No, exactly. They have a facility. I think that's about all they have. But so yeah, I got to go Denver as well in this one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Brad. Exactly.
Next game, Minnesota Vikings. Now there is no
Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football.
So this is the Sunday night game.
Yeah, so this is the Sunday night
What was-
game.
what was the
Green
points?
Bay visiting the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are a 1-point favorite. It's a real good game.
Yeah, that's right. They don't have their starting quarterback in Minnesota. They don't even
They
have
went
their
with the third string guy.
Josh Dobbs, right? They got Dobbs.
No, he's not playing. It's
He's
the
not
other
playing?
guy. I forget the name of it.
Oh man, they've been quarterbacks this year have been
Yeah,
getting
it's a
knocked
shit
out
show
like
there.
crazy. I'm gonna go Green Bay on this one. Just because I think they're a sneaky team, man. I think they can beat teams. I think they'll sneak into the playoffs. So they could be the kind of team
I'm gonna go
to
Green
knock
Bay.
out somebody as well.
Minnesota's messing with their quarterbacks. Brad's saying Justin Jefferson's going off. He might, but I don't know this kid that's throwing to him. So, you need to go back to Dobbs, but they're not going to do that. So,
Maybe in the middle of the game.
Green Bay gets the win in a shootout. I don't know. Who the hell knows? So, there's a few good games. I would say my favorite games, non-Cowboys, would be I would say my favorite games, obviously, Arizona Eagles. I don't know how good of a game it's going to be. But then I think
I'm interested in that Cincy Kansas
Miami,
City game. Miami, Baltimore. Yep.
and New Orleans, Tampa, and Cincinnati game. Yeah, so well, I mean,
Some good
there's
ones
some
there.
games left. We're coming down to the nitty gritty here. We're coming down. We got 1 week left to go after Sunday, so it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Brad's already calling it 38-28 Cowboys. I like it. I like that. I like where you're going with that, Brad.
So yeah,
you want to go first?
Yeah,
You want me to go first.
No, I mean that's how we've been doing it this season. Unless you want to kind of switch up the mojo a little bit to kind of get them on another streak.
All right. I'm going to go to the box then, people.
All right, let's do
Going
this.
into
Let's
the
do
box.
this.
Let
You
me go
you-
first.
you gonna tell your story?
Prime time. I see us. I could see us scoring more than this number that's in this folded piece of paper. I could see us scoring more. The over/under is 52.5. So it's a high scoring game. I think Dallas is gonna light it up Yeah, offensively. I think the Detroit Lions secondary is not very good. They do get a pass rush, but with Tyron Smith back, I think it's negated big time. I think our offensive line has a good showing. I think we get off to a great start passing the ball. We mix in Ferguson. We are able to run the ball. I think Pollard has a big game. My score doesn't really indicate all that success, but I do think the Lions will have some success. But ultimately, I think Dallas pulls away, wins the game, 34-24.
Okay, good score.
So,
all right.
Cowboys 34, Lions 24. So, but I can see us getting into the 40s if we have a defensive score. Our defense is predicated on getting elite. That's just how we are this year. Every year, a team molds themselves and is a certain way. Our team, like most defenses, but our defense is deadly when you make them one-dimensional. So we need to make Detroit one-dimensional. Goff is not going to be able to get out of the way and run anywhere. We're not going to worry about him running. So I like Bland to get himself an interception. So
That's not bad.
that's my score.
Yeah, when I look at these two teams, man, I see a lot of similarities, man. Do they show up every single game? Nope. Do they shoot themselves in the foot? Yep. Do they get one-dimensional because other things aren't working? Sometimes their players just screw up? Yep. The coaching does some pretty crazy shit. I think, ours is more on the clock management. There's times where you're just like, okay, what the hell is he thinking? So there's a lot of issues there, but I see a lot of similarities. It just depends, man. If both teams, again, like I said, bring it, Dallas has a better defense to be able to stop Detroit, whether at least half the times, I see Detroit having success. Do I see them having success all the time? As I saw, I could see Bills, okay, that can have success. Miami, I saw them having a lot more success. Detroit is a very potent team, man. They got a great running game. They have a very good weapons in the outside, even the inside with Sam Laporta. But I still think our defense can get home. I think we can get an interception. I think this is the quarterback that, yes, he can play really good, throw a ball 30, 40 yards downfield on the dime, but also give you those crazy interceptions when, there's nobody around. So I don't know which team is going to get up ahead. It's going to be by 14 or so points. The other team's going to claw back. Whether it's Dallas calling back, they're going to be able to make the comeback. And I have Dallas winning 33-28. I see it being a closer score, but I think it's because the other team tries to come back at the end. Of course, Detroit trying to come back at the end to try to claw, and then then their defense puts another clamp and stopping on them, and I see us pulling out the victory. Again, can Detroit just run all over? Hell yeah! That's the point. You got Glitterman also saying this in the chat. They can run all day and be very successful. Will our defense step up? This is the things that he's talking about. Damone Clark needs to play a better game. Our guys need to be very disciplined in their gap assignments. You can't have Parsons.
Win for Jimmy, baby.
Yes, win for Jimmy. I love that. If you're watching it on ESPN apparently is going to do the ceremony. So you'll be able to see the ceremony on ESPN. But I look at this team, and this would be a great victory to kind of all those other 2 weeks. Okay, let's push that aside. Let's focus on the next following week. All I know is that this team is a playoff team. It's something that we predicted. We thought this team could go further into the playoffs than they had in a couple of years. It just depends on which team goes. But you need to set it up right. In order to win these couple of games, set yourself up with some maybe home field advantage at some point, and you're not just playing on the road, which is something we've seen this team struggle with. But, hey, this is the time to do it, right, Brian?
Yeah, well, Twitch just says choke
for Jimmy. Yeah.
I got news for you. If McCarthy loses this game, I'm firing him right after. If we're getting blowed out before halftime, his ass is not coming out in the second half. I don't give a shit. See, he gone. And it ain't happening to his. It ain't happening. It's gonna be a good game.
Sorry, man. I'm right there at the end there. But Brian, man, I'd continue on, but we've had so many screw ups, so I appreciate you guys.
A comedy of errors.
It was.
From last night to my stream, where I had to do two different streams. I was doing the same thing, Phil.
Yeah, I gotta love it, man. I gotta love it. We haven't had one of these little problems in a while, so it's nice to bring back the classics. Yeah, nice to bring back the classics occasionally. So I remember our first couple of streams. We're like, you hear the audio? Can't hear the, yeah.
Hello.
So yeah, so we're coming back talking about a Cowboys victory, or we're talking about a defeat that really kind of, again, it puts you back further than when you want to be. But hey, by that point, you just got to start looking at playoffs. I don't know whether they're resting peoples and stuff like that, but this still determine a lot of what happens the next following week. So let's go and get a nice little victory. Again, it's the last home game in the regular season, so this is definitely how you want to play well, especially on a ring ceremony, man. You don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah. I expect this to go to 16-0 and finish off the year 8-0 at home. And hopefully we can go into, at the very least, we win tomorrow. We bring our A game.
So we're the only Saturday game. So Dallas-Detroit game is the only Saturday game. It's interesting. It's Saturday night.
And then we get an extra.
Is it the bowl games are going? Is that the reason why?
Assuming we win.
Oh, Glimmer Man, I love that, man. I love that. Glimmer Man says, let Jimmy Johnson call the plays tomorrow. I like that, man. Bryan, anything you want to say before we get out of here? We've, wasted these people enough of their time with this this terrible thing.
Nah, I think we're good to go. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Hopefully, we take care of business tomorrow night, man. Nice having you back, man. Hope you feel better.
Yeah, I think by tomorrow, I'm like, there's that little thing by the end, but I'm glad I'm better. I've been taking the medicine and everything. But one thing I definitely am proud of is being able to come here and what a heck of a check, man. We're getting new people in here, so I appreciate you coming through and checking us out. Anybody can share, give me a comment. Why do you think Detroit's going to run all over Dallas? Why do you think Dallas is going to run all over Detroit, which is, kind of where I'm feeling. So anyways, Bryan, I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate everybody in the chat. But one thing I definitely appreciate you not forgetting to do is do what?
Always ring that bell.
Damn right. See you guys.
Hey, we know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you? You. No, not me, you. Yes, I am you. Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
Gametime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
Broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu studio.
Come on, are you going to tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil. And of course, my co-host, Gametime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000. I don't even need to hear it.